Hello guys, welcome to NameTech channel. My name is Nehemiah and I'm very happy to have you on board. So this is lesson 12 on Django and we are going to talk about the static files. But then before we begin, please take a minute, subscribe, like and share the video to your friends. And to the returning subscribers, I really appreciate you very much for your continuous support. You can as well like this video. Guys, please always like this video so that YouTube may recommend it to very many people, so that the channel may grow very fast. Now, without further ado, let's begin straight away. There's basically when building web application, you probably want to add some static files like the images, the CSS files, the JavaScript files. So in that case, guys, basically we want to create the static folder. Basically, in this member app, we're gonna create the static folder. And then so what we do, let's go to the folder here, then perhaps let's call it static. Ensure that we give the exact name, just say static, and then hit enter to create the static files. And then guys, basically what we do, we can as well add add the CSS file in the static folder. And then basically we can give it any name. You can give it basically any name, and then basically we shall also add the JavaScript or the images. So in this folder, let me call it, perhaps let me say my first. You can give it any name, guys, but let me say my first dot CSS. Now this one is CSS, my first dot CSS. You can give it any name, but then what you must ensure is that it has this extension dot CSS. Ensure that it ends with the extension dot CSS to define that this one is a CSS file. Then I hit enter to create that a CSS file. So guys, basically we can do this. Let's try to modify the template. Perhaps the template that we are gonna use here is the let's use the template for .html. Basically, the one that we used to test our codes is that the members. Where is it? Was at the templates. Then here are the templates .html. So guys, basically I want us now to modify these codes here. I want us to modify them. And then perhaps before anything, ensure here at the top you have added what these are load code. These are Django code, the load. First of all, remember Django code is defined using the curly braces, and then inside it we add the percentage, and then here we can add in the load function. But then we are gonna load what static. We are gonna load the static folder, and then what you do, guys, here we can also add the external style sheet. So here are the header. Let's do it. Let's add the external style sheet by typing link. I don't know if it will. Let me just type in, guys. Let me just type in. First of all, open and close the actually open the angle brackets. Then I type in a link, and then real, and then assign it to now that style sheet. Basically assign it to style sheet, style sheet, and then hyperreference. Let's give it what href hyperreference href. Let's assign it to the Django state, actually to the Django tag here. And then I'm gonna use a percentage. Actually, first of all, curly braces, then inside it percentage, opening and closing of these percentage. Then between them I'm gonna do what let me say static. A static should be static, right? Stay static. And then what we do here, let me define now the name of that static file, which is it was my first, right? It was my first You can give it your name that you gave the CSS file, but then mine was my first .css, and then ensure that you close with these you close basically those quotation mark, and then also what you do here, guys, basically let's also close now our main URL here with this the closing tag for the angle bracket, actually angle bracket for greater than. Now guys, basically this way you have linked the external style sheet to your what to your to your project. Alright, before anything, let's add some codes in this external style sheet. Basically let's add in some codes. This style sheet, perhaps let me say body, then let me add in some background color. Just guys, for the sake of testing, let me add in some background color by typing a background color. Then perhaps let me give it something like a light blue. Then a font family, we can change perhaps font family. We can give it what? You can give it which one? Let me just choose any, guys. Just for the sake of showing you, let me choose that one for this serif family. So guys, once we are done, let's open our file explorer, and then let's navigate to our project directory, and then what we do, guys, here let's do it. Let's open the open here the CMD, or you can as well use the CD, but then let's do this, and then what we do, guys, let's type in what? Let's activate the virtual environment by typing scripts, then backslash, then activate .bat, and then what we do, let's hit enter to activate the virtual environment, and then what we are gonna do, guys, here let's do it. Let's say let's run server by typing pi manage.py, and then let's type in what? Let's type in run server. This is a command to run the server. And then let's hit enter to to run the server, and then give it some seconds, and then it's gonna open the server for us to use. Now once it's open, just copy this URL. Then let's go to the browser. And then here let's paste the code there, and then guys, basically let's now navigate to the testing section. Let's go to the testing. And so guys, basically you can see it cannot work, so we have to install a third-party library here called white noise. So you can use any other, but then let me use a white noise. So guys, basically Django does not have a built-in solution for serving static files, and at least not in the basically in the production. The bug has to be false. Remember, for us at the setting, let me go there. Let's go to the settings. It was at the tutorials, then at the setting, and then guys, basically you can see the debug. We set it to false, and then we allowed any any host name to process this project. But then guys, we have to use a third-party solution to accomplish this third-party program actually to work with this or basically on how to serve the static files. Now guys, basically let me show you how to install the the white noise. So what I'm gonna do, guys, here at the command prompt, first of all, let's do it, and let's break if the command line is not breaked, or your server is not break, ensure that you click on Ctrl+C so that you may be able to type there the code. Then once you're there, guys, let's do it. Let's type in pip install a white noise. Basically here let me use a pi, and then just to be precise. Then I'll do it hit enter so that it may install a white noise for us. So guys, basically you can see we have installed that white noise. So now we have to tell Django to be aware that we have installed it and we want to use it. So what we are gonna do, guys, let's navigate to our project, to the setting basically, and then where is it? The settings, and then at the middleware, we are gonna do it. We are gonna add in that that middle, actually that white noise here. So let me see. First of all, it should be inside the quotations, and then always remember to close with a comma, otherwise you'll have issues. Then type in white noise, and then dot middle, dot middleware, and dot middleware, then dot white noise, dot white noise. Type exactly like what I'm doing here. It began with a capital, then a noise is a capital also, and then here type in M for middleware, also in caps, middleware, and then what you do once you're done, then what you do, guys, let's now so guys, let me now show you how to collect the static files. Now guys, basically to handle static files, like for example style sheets, JavaScript images, basically you cannot handle them when debug is set to false, like what we did in our case. And so we have to do it. We have to collect and put them in a specified folder before we can use it. Now let me show you how to collect those static files in a few. Now to collect all the static files for our project or your project, you have to specify the root property in the setting .py, in this settings.py. So basically you can give it in name, but then let me get there. First of all, just at this section you have to do it. You have to specify what the folder by typing stating in caps static underscore root. We are gonna assign it to base directory dr, and then what we do, let me give it you can give it any name, guys, but then let me use let me call it perhaps production file, production files, files. Basically, guys, you can give it any name, but then for me, this is my preference. And then what we do, guys, so guys, after this, you could manually create this folder and collect and put all static files in your project into this folder. But then Django has a command that can do this for you. So what we do, let's go to our command line tool, and then I type in what py, and then manage.py, then collect static, collect static. Then what we do, let's hit enter. So guys, basically this is how you can collect, and you can see we have very many files here, 101 static files. So guys, basically this happens because the admin user interface that comes built in with Django, it usually comes with very many production files, like the style sheets, fonts, images, JavaScript, and so forth. So what we do, guys, now, let's try to run the server and see if it will work, if it has collected the static files in our project. So what we do, guys, let's type in py then manage.py, then do what, click on run server, then I do what, hit enter, and then what we do, let's navigate to our browser, then I try to refresh. Let's try to refresh, and then guys, basically you can see now it is working. So guys, let me now talk about the global static files, and let's begin by first discussing how to add a global CSS file. Now guys, basically we've learned how to add a static file in the application, that is static folder, and how to use it in the application. But then what if the other application in our project would want to use the same file? So we have to create a folder on the root directory and put the files there. It's not enough just to create a static files in the root directory, and Django will fix the rest. We have to tell Django where to look for these static files. So let's begin by first creating a folder on the project's root level for this project, and then I always find it easier to create that folder on this section. And then what I'm gonna do, guys, here let me create another folder, and then I'm gonna call it perhaps static. Let me call it my static. Let me call it my static files. Perhaps let me call it my static files. Or let me just say my static, so that it may not be much complicated. Then I do it. Let me hit enter, and then to save it. Now guys, basically let's now go to our project, basically to our text editor, and then to this my static. Let's add in what CSS file here. Perhaps I can call it my global .css, my global.css. Then perhaps let's add in some code. Perhaps let me say body, and then let me give it the property. Let me give it a color value. Let me give it perhaps red. And then what we do, guys, let's do this. Let's modify the setting. And then here, guys, let me say perhaps let me say static in caps. Let me call it a static files. Files underscore directories dirs, and then let's now assign it to our list. And then a list is defined using these square brackets. Then here let me call it a base and directory base dir, base dir. Then the forward slash, these are forward slash. And then here perhaps let me say let me now define that it is my static, right? My static, I call it my static. And then what I do, guys, let me talk about this file in a few. Now guys, basically in this static files underscore dir here list, you can list all the directories where Django should look for static files. So basically these are base underscore dir, base underscore dir keyword represent the root directory of the project, and then together with this forward slash, and then my static, basically my static, it means that it means the folder that is my static in the root directory. Now let me talk about the search order in a few. So basically if you have files with the same name, Django will use the first occurrence of the file. Perhaps if you have many lists here, so basically Django will use what, the first occurrence, and then the search starts in the directories listed in these are my static dirs using the order you have provided. Then the static, then if the file is not found, then the search continues in the static folder of each application. So now guys, perhaps before we test it, let's change some codes at the templates. Let's modify the templates, and then here let's change it to my global my global.css, and then guys, basically it will not work when you run the server unless we collect again the static. So what we do, let's collect the static again. So just type in basically click on the up arrow key, then it will give you that command, basically because we typed earlier. But then you can just type pi and then a space manage.py space collect static, and then I do hit enter. Then it will ask you you have requested to collect static files at the destination location as specified in your setting. This will overwrite existing files. Are you sure you want to do this? Then I do click on type yes. Type yes, and then guys, basically you can see that one static file copied to this directory. And then if you have this statement or these results, then let's run the server again, and then let's see the changes if it will work. Let's see the changes. Let me run the browser again, refresh, and then guys, basically you can see it's now working. So guys, let me now show you how to add the CSS file to the project. And basically what we are gonna do, guys, let's first of all open the project. Basically our project is the members here. Just specify the members. In our case it is members, if you have been following me, and then you'll find this kind of results. And then what we are gonna do, guys, basically we want to add the style sheet to this project, and put it into that my static folder. What we are gonna do, guys, let's do at my static. Where is it? Let me get to my static. Here it is. And then I'll go here, and then let's create another file called, let me call it perhaps let me call the file perhaps my styles.css, and then hit enter. Then perhaps let's try to add in some background color. So let me say background color. Sorry, you should specify the selector first of all, which is body, and then let's add in the background color, and then I can give it perhaps light blue or whichever color that is placing on your end. And then what you do, guys, let's now modify the template. Let's modify the template, which is master template. Now basically let's now affect. We have been working with the the testing views, but then now I want us to affect our project. So what you're gonna do, guys, let's go to the master so that we may affect our entire project. And then here at the top, let's do it. Let's use the Django tag, of which is defined using the braces, then a percentage. Then inside it I can say perhaps a load, then a load static, and then also here we are gonna add in the CSS style here, basically at the at the title here, they are basically at this head. So what you are gonna do, perhaps let me just copy from the templates. Let me copy this URL so that I may not type a lot. Let me just copy, and then to master. Then perhaps I can add in that external style sheet, and then here I can say perhaps let me say what. Let me change it to my style. Our new style sheet is my styles. My styles.css, and then what we are gonna do next is to let's basically, guys, we modify the setting. So basically we are using the same directory, the same folder, so we don't have to modify again because we've done so. What we are gonna do, guys, let's again collect. Let me break first of all the server, then let me again collect what. Let me collect that static files. Just type in pi manage.py, then collect static, then hit enter. It will ask you again what you're gonna do. Just type in yes, and then guys, basically it says two static files have done what? Basically it says the two static file have been copied to this to your what? To your have been copied to this directory. So what we're gonna do, guys, the next is to do it. Let's try to run the server. Let's run the server again. Let me hit enter, and then what we are gonna do, guys, let's try to do it. Let's try to refresh and see if it will work. Let's try to refresh, and then guys, basically you can see now it's working. So guys, basically now you can see that we've linked the CSS. You can style further, you can change everything here. Basically, I guess by now you understand the CSS. If not, you can go to my website, then I go to the CSS section, then you're gonna find what all the CSS called there. Also, it's available on this YouTube channel. You can find it there, and then I learn more. And actually, guys, I'm gonna style this stuff. Now in our next tutorial, this will be much prettier. But then for now, guys, I want to end this video here. So please subscribe if you have not subscribed, and until next time, this is Nehemiah. Goodbye.